Hello, today I want to talk to you guys about the flipped classroom. I've been flipping my classroom for about a year now, and I really wanted to take this study and find out if what I'm doing is effective. And that's really where I thought, especially doing the IRB, where I really like that benefit question. Outside of what I think it's how it's going to benefit the students, I really think it's benefited me as a teacher. I really feel that I have a good grasp on it. If I want to change methods or I want to try something new, one, how to research it, to see what other people are doing, good sites, just that whole experience has been good for me as a teacher. I really want to inspire other teachers to implement technology into their classroom. With this, and it doesn't have to be this whole flipped model. It can just be one or two things like implementing this. You know, excuse me, I have a cold. I've been redoing this over and over. I'm going to be coughing probably during this. I apologize. But inspire the teachers to implement technology in the classroom, even if it's just little things. Get out from in front of the classroom. So encourage them to try activities where they're not in front all the time, but they're allowing kids to dictate what's going on in the classroom, allowing kids to communicate with each other. I think that's important. You really get to know your students when you're able to move around more and you're not tethered to the front of the classroom. But let's get to the question. So, how does using a flipped classroom model affect student achievement, motivation, and perceptions in a middle school algebra classroom? So, what does all that mean? Broken down into three parts. Student achievement, the homework grade. Homework grade's a lot, not a lot, a large portion of my classroom grade, but it encompasses a lot of things. So exit tickets, whisks, wax, those things I'll talk about in a second. Regular homework like a traditional homework assignment, weekly quizzes. And I call these in my classroom level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of assessment. So this is kind of a credit, no credit. Are they doing it? The exit slips are for me. I give them credit when they turn it in, and I do give them feedback on it. But if they have it done, they get the credit, so they're knowing what's going on there. Weekly quizzes. I give them on Friday. They're usually 5 or 6 questions based on what we learned that week. They're allowed to correct. They get those back on Monday with feedback. And it really helps me know what I did well that week and what I still need to work on, or what we as a class need to work on. And then after all of that, we'll have a summative chapter test. It'll be on chapter 8. I'm hoping this whole process takes about 4 weeks, barring any major snowfall events. Student motivation. Outside of a survey, looking at the number, like if I give an assignment, I have 92 students. How many of those students are turning in the assignment? 89, 85, 80, all 92. That'll be, excuse me, a good way to judge student motivation. And then a student survey. What do they think of certain activities? What do they think of the flipped classroom model? That'll go in with perceptions as well. Do they like grouping in groups? What activities did they enjoy doing? Do they think it helped them? All of those things are going to be tied together. And then classroom observations. I really plan on looking at this through when we're doing activities. How many kids are engaged? Are kids engaged? So I know that when my principal comes in my classroom, she often looks like are kids not engaged what they're doing? So I'm going to be looking at it with the same eye. Is little Billy sitting there doing nothing while his partner does all the work? Those are the things I'm going to be looking for. Are everybody engaged? And I see really positive outcomes so far in my experience with this, with that type of lens. So, lit review. What did I find? Many studies done, although not as many as I thought. I thought it'd be really easy to find studies. It wasn't as easy as I thought, but it wasn't too bad. Not many done in the middle school setting. I often call middle school the ugly stepchild. I feel like where I've been in middle school is always the last to get technology, last to, iPads. We're the last to get everything. I have no idea if that has anything to do with that type of study like this, but who knows? I just always feel like there's a lot of stuff missing. Achievement. Biggest gains when studies had a control group. So what I saw when these studies were able to make these claims that there were big gains, usually that had to do with a different teacher and a class that did not flip. There's obviously a lot of variables to consider when you're not even using the same teacher. But we are still seeing gains. And there's been a few school districts that have seen, I think, significant gains. Maybe not just necessarily in achievement, but in some of these other ones like motivation. I think this is where we're going to see, where I think I would turn heads where a teacher might go, I need to try that. And it might not be because, all your kids get A's, but it might be that all your kids are participating and everybody's enjoying class more and things like that. These two kind of go together. Cooperation, willingness to work on assignments, teaching each other, perceptions. Do they just like it better because, even if it's just less homework? I know, homework goes from maybe 20 to 30 minutes of math homework to 5 to 7 when I assign, just because the lessons are short, videos are short. They're able to rewatch when they're struggling. And because I've now freed up classroom time, I have time to build strong relationships. I really hope to see this in some of the responses to that survey. So the who, what, when, where, and how. So 92 students in my 8th grade algebra class. These are the hours and the times that we'll be doing the study. This will be that 4-week session, January to the middle of February. It's actually, I think, the second week we get back from break. We're going to start Chapter 8. We should finish it in the middle of February. It's about 4 weeks. And the test will probably be right at the very end of that, or maybe the start of that 5th week. Here are the links to the videos and the format they're in, and what I would ask the students to do. So I give this to the students before they start Chapter 8. So this is called a WAC. So watch, attempt a similar problem, and question. And the question usually comes from where their attempt breaks down. I really like this WAC idea. They're not allowed not to have a question, so if they breeze through it and they know what they're doing, or they understand after the video, they have to at least come up with a question they think somebody would have. And the same thing applies for the WISC. The S is for summarize, so they wouldn't actually attempt a problem. They would summarize the video on evaluating an exponential expression. So how, maybe steps to solve the problem would be their summary. Moving forward, so finishing up chapters 1 and 3, I think I got a few hours left on that. Obviously, most of 3 is written after the IRB. I got a pretty good start on 1 and the hook and all that stuff, so I'm happy with where I'm at with that. That should be done, I'm hoping, by the end of this weekend, if not the middle of next week. Finish up the remaining videos. I'm going to accomplish that over Christmas break. Edit a few of the quizzes. Just looking at the timeline for this year, it doesn't quite line up. So I remember I give quizzes on Fridays, so I need to make sure that I have that ready to go. And just continue to game plan for the start of the study. Concerns mentioned earlier, snow days is the big one. I do not need another 9-day snow day year this year. It was crushing to get through everything. You really had to cut a lot of stuff out just to stay caught up with exams and all that are set in stone, so it's hard to move those at the district level. So hopefully we don't have a lot of those. And just staying organized. I really need to be able to I need to stay focused on when I get the data, getting it in a document somewhere that I can then transfer that to my final finished product. So it's not such a huge job at the end. So, if it's too big, I'm not going to procrastinate and not want to get that done. So that is something I just want to stay on top of. So that is where I'm at right now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks. Thanks for everything this semester, guys.